I do.
So
like
why
this
are we
record a
arguing?
lot.
Why are we arguing about this?
Because the worst
Because
part
we
is
really
Chino.
like this. Okay, so we can get past that. Let's get into the other shit. So,
But the problem is you don't think he's the worst part.
I don't. No, I don't.
And that's the problem.
I think you're the problem here, but that's okay.
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
Hey, this is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, a different artist. We break down one of their records. We do a ton of research. We try to, let you guys in on all the little secrets, on all the information. And we try to have a good time doing it. I know Jeff probably had a horrible time this week, but
It's terrible. It's fucking awful.
While you're listening, because I know you have nothing better to do, that's why you're listening to the pod. You should all go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, get on there, give us 5 stars and 5 stars only, because that means the most to us. Don't be those assholes giving us lower stars, because they probably never really listened to the podcast. So go do that, please. And all the social media handles are at Asinine Radio. Our Discord, we do have one of those. If you want to know the link to that, send us a message. We'll send that link to you. And we have a phone number. If you want to call us, you could leave us a voicemail, shoot us a text. That phone number is 503-893-5307. So get into that. And if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler. And way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. So with that, what are we doing today? What are we doing today, Jeff?
We are doing the Deftones' Adrenaline.
Now, Jeff, what's your origin story with Deftones? What do you got? Go.
I'm gonna reel it in a little bit, and then talk about the beer that I just opened.
The what?
The beer.
Oh,
that
the
I just
beer.
opened.
Yes, you have This is your third Deftones beer. If you don't already know, if you didn't listen to the other episodes, he started with the Phantom Bride Deftones beer. Then you went on to the White Pony IPA from Deftones and Belching Beaver. So what do you got for number 3? Go.
Now I am on Swerve City. Swerve City.
Fucking great song.
Pog IPA is what it says on there. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I don't know if it's mine, but it pours with like sediment. Like there's some floaties in there. And
Did you pour the whole can out? Because you're not supposed to pour the very bottom of the can out.
No, this was canned on May of this year, so it's not like old. I mean, it's a couple months old, but it's not that old.
Too old for a friend of the pod, Mike, but
yeah, but 2 months is not that old.
It's not, no.
But there's little. I mean, they're tiny floaties, but when you get like a million of them there, they turn into like a lot of floaties.
I get it.
Almost make it like a hazy type of IPA. But Raul, our friend of the pod, Raul, did leave a review on this one, and it's funny.
Oh, okay. What is it?
So he gave it 3.75 out of 5. And he says, I have mixed feelings on this one, like when my baby mama wears headgear. Sure, Ma, you fly. But girls wearing hats? Yeah, Raul don't know about that one.
What?
And here in this liquid beverage, Raul's like, yeah, he'll drink it. But as a keeper? Not really. Damn, sucker is about as juicy as a rock's last vitamin injection. You feel me? It just doesn't seem real. It simply tastes like someone brewed an IPA and then poured all kinds of juices in it afterwards. It does not feel like one cohesive drink. Again, I'll sip it, but it ain't a winner like organic free range chicken dinner. There we go, baby.
Raul's the best.
Raul is the best.
Raul is the best. Fuck, man. It's just like a stream of consciousness. Like there's really never any rhyme or reason to his reviews on Beer Advocate. I love it.
I feel like
That's
Raul
great.
either like it's just he's like the David Teller, Jeff Ross of just writing funny reviews, and it just comes to him so natural, or he writes it, edits it, rewrites it, edits it. It's either one
I
or
don't
the
think
other.
it's that. I don't think it's that. I don't think he really puts any thought into it. I think it's just like the first thing that comes to his mind, because a lot of it, not a lot of it, but sometimes it's just nonsense. It's just so stupid. I love it.
So yeah, I mean, so yeah, I just poured this Swerve City, which I can't remember what album it was from, but it's
from Koi. It's the opener for Koi.
yeah, an album that I don't like that much. So
Fucking love that record.
that's what we got. So I'll sip it and then let you know what's going on. Otherwise, yeah, let's get into our first origin stories, our first origins or story impressions.
Yeah, what do you got?
I mean, Deftones was a term, a band, a thought, a concept that was been floating around for many years in high school, but I didn't honestly like give them any thought until Rudy, until friend of the pod Rudy,
Friend of the pod of Rudy, yeah.
who I met. I think I was a junior. We were juniors, and he was a freshman or sophomore in high school, and he was just like in love with White Pony. Like that was like his fucking claim to fame, as he always talked about how much White Pony was so great and how fucking amazing it was. And I because we were in a band together, kind of, I was like, okay, I guess I'll listen to White Pony.
Yeah.
And even back then, I was like, this is fucking bullshit, dude. This is dumb music. This is just
bullshit.
This is bullshit, man. This goes nowhere. Nothing is happening here. And I don't know. Ever since then, I've had that bad taste in my mouth, and I've tried. We've tried on the pod, like I've tried over and over to understand what other people see in Deftones, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't think I will ever understand it, and I think it's because I don't like shit. I don't eat shit. I don't like shit. I don't care. You know, like
I will say
some of these cultures that like eat other humans, like cannibal cultures. Like I'll never get that either, right? I'll never understand that.
I hope not.
Much in the same way as this, cannibal culture is probably wrong. That sounds weird and bizarre. Deftones are also bizarre and weird and fucking dumb. So. I don't know.
I will give you credit though, because you really gave them a chance. Not only the Diamond Eyes episode we did like 2 years ago, but this week too, because you really listened to all the records. You even did extracurricular, and you listened to the covers record, and you listened to Chi Chang's solo record, his poetry record. So you really went out of your way to really dive into Deftones. So I do have to give you a ton of credit for that.
I even like mixed them up.
I think
right?
you're completely wrong.
I even mixed them up so that I wouldn't like kind of like know what to anticipate, or there was no like gradual progression from point A to point B. It was like I listened to D record followed by X followed by A followed by W. So like there was a very diverse amount of Deftones that I listened to, so I wouldn't get bored. But man, like. I mean, I should talk the Beatles a lot as being arguably the most overrated band of all time, but Deftones are they're number 2. They're number 2.
Oh, that is so stupid.
What
about Tool? Do you like Tool more than Deftones?
So I listened to Tool's, whatever the Opiate album that we have. That was part of my
EP? Yeah, that's a good EP.
That was part of my PPs, my possible purges. And I was like, God damn, this is really fucking good.
It's a good record. We paid $5 for it, dude.
I know.
Just
it was
keep
so
it.
fucking cheap. I know.
$5.
It still goes.
Damn.
It still goes for like $8 or $9. So you still like a really really cheap EP. But then I like just talking with the neighbors because one of them is a big Tool fan, and we play Tool often, and he'll play listen to this song, and he'll say listen to this part is fucking fantastic, and like yeah, there are parts of Tool songs that are fantastic, but Deftones is a band that I think, like, honest to God, if I could erase one band from the history of, like, the timeline...
That is so wrong.
It'd be the Deftones. I think they bring nothing to the table.
Man.
Nothing.
That is so fucking stupid.
Just saying. Cosmos that's all I can do.
I mean, you have said. I mean, I've known you for 20 years now, over 20 years now, and you've said so many stupid things. But this is like top 5, one of the stupidest things you've ever said
they bring nothing to
about
the
this
table.
band. Well, that's wrong. And
They won a fucking Grammy, for God's sakes, off of a stupid fucking song from White Pony.
Did they win for Change or did they win for
Elite.
Oh, was it Elite?
It's a stupid fucking song.
Yeah, that song is
stupid song.
Not even like top 5 off that record, but yeah, it's stupid. That's silly. I mean, White Pony. I will agree. White Pony is wildly overrated. It's one of my least favorite records of theirs, but I still like it. But it's definitely one of their worst. But okay, so your origins. So you never heard Change? You never heard that song prior to Rudy?
Dude, all these songs sound the same.
But you don't remember watching the video or anything like that?
Fucking
Nothing?
the 2 videos this week fucking are identical. So no, maybe not.
Well, Change that video was different, but wow, okay. So that's your origin story with Deftones then.
Yeah, it was really like Rudy was the one because he was so adamant about it. That's the person that I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Then you hated it then, and you hated
it
except
then.
for Adrenaline. You fucking love Adrenaline.
Adrenaline's pretty good.
It is fucking good. That's why we're doing it this week, because it's the only record you like. But anyway, my origin story real quick. The first song I ever heard was Change in the House of Flies. That video, I saw it for the first time on TRL, and I hated it. I hated the song. I just hated the band. I really, really disliked this band for a couple years. And then I was up, I think I woke up at it was like 4 a.m. and I turned on MTV2 or I think it was just MTV. And that was when MTV would play music videos at night, like overnight, like starting at like 11 o'clock midnight. They would play videos until about 5 or 6 a.m. And I woke up really early for whatever reason. I turned on MTV and the video for Hexagram came on. So this is like 2003. So mid high school for us. And Hexagram came on and I didn't know it was Deftones. It was so aggressive. It was something I'd never heard. It was just fucking unreal. And it blew my mind. And like I said on the album rankings episode, that song fucking still blows my mind. And I heard that song. I absolutely loved it. And then, at the time, that was when we were using, Kazaa and torrents and things like that. So I downloaded that Deftones record, and I didn't really like it. I liked Hexagram and Minerva. That was about it. I wrote them off again. I'm like, oh, this band still sucks. And it wasn't until like 2010 when I really started to get into them. Like it took me a long ass time to really, really enjoy their music. And that was when Diamond Eyes came out. Right before Diamond Eyes came out, they came out with Rocket Skates, first single from that record, and I really fucking dug it. That was when the beginning of my obsession with this band started. And ever since Rocket Skates, I've been in love with this band. Deftones are a top 10 band for me. Like without a fucking doubt, they are a top 10 band for me.
Oh my God.
I have all their records on vinyl. I do. I mine all their 9 records, not like the cover stuff or anything like that. But I have their 9 records on vinyl. This week I listened to them all the records on vinyl, and I listened to them all on Spotify. So that was really fucking cool. It was a lot of fun. And then of course I listened to the album of the week multiple times because it's the album of the week. But this has been a great week for me. Miserable for you, but fucking fantastic for me. Okay. I fucking love this band. So good.
Again, I don't see how. Like objectively, I just don't see how.
I just think their music is it's just beautiful music. Like I don't think there's anything super intricate about any of the parts. There's some really awesome drum parts, but outside of that,
where
musically individually, I don't think there's anything spectacular. But as a whole, as a band, as a cohesive songwriting unit, I think their songs are just absolutely beautiful. They're fucking amazing. So, yeah, I love this band.
You know what makes the Grammys even fucking worse is that the fact that not just that they gave the Deftones a fucking Grammy, but the Deftones beat fucking Wait and Bleed for best metal performance and
For that song.
that Marilyn Manson song that was from the Celebrity Death Match soundtrack, which was my introduction to Marilyn Manson, was the Celebrity
What
Death Match
song was
soundtrack.
that?
I can't remember what the name was, but it was fucking so good. And it was a song that Manson didn't put on an album until their live album.
Oh, okay.
But it was a really cool song. But the fact that like Elite from White Pony beat Wait and Bleed, and Wait and Bleed, not like the best Slipknot song of all time, but fucking
It's
better
so
than
good.
anything the Deftones ever put out. Come on.
I still think it was probably because even Wait and Bleed, as quiet as mellow of a song as it is for Slipknot, it's still pretty fucking heavy. In the context of what the Grammys are, it's pretty fucking heavy. I can understand why that didn't win.
The fact
But
that
Elite is like a
damn
weak
it.
song off of White Pony for sure.
And it
For
beat
sure.
Wait and Bleed. Fuck that. Fuck the Grammys. Fuck Deftones. Fuck Slipknot for losing.
Yeah, fuck Slipknot for losing. Oh boy. All right. So let's get into our first impressions of Adrenaline, because that's the album of the week, obviously. And then we'll jump into the song Bored because we already played it, and then we'll get into our banger, or we'll get into any stinkers if we have them, and then we'll get into our bangers. So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
Well, I mean, we're only doing this because you played this at my house, and I was like, "Wow, this is really, really good. I like this a lot."
Yeah.
And then I bought the album.
Bought this from Grace.
on the vinyls.
I bought this from Grace. I bought this at Grace when I was out there.
Yeah, and then
For, I think,
I
20
also
bucks.
bought it from Grace.
No, I paid
So-
18 for this one. Sorry.
Mine was used. I think we had the same copy. Mine was used, so it was cheaper.
Mhm.
But yeah, this would not be happening right now had you not bought that from Grace and listened to it. And again, I cannot fucking stand Chino's vocals. I think Chino is to say he's the worst part of this band is like an understatement. I think he's a non-musician member of this band. He's awful. He's that bad. But
Oh, you're
everything
so wrong.
else,
You're so wrong.
I don't know about that. But everything else about
Well,
this is pretty. It's
Well,
pretty
I don't know
goddamn
about that,
good.
dude.
And so like my first impressions were like, wow, this is really heavy. This is really aggressive. This is very new metal-y, Korn-like, but not goofy. Like obviously these guys are taking themselves way too fucking seriously. But it's still kind of a bunch of dudes shitting around. Still pretty good. So
Well,
4 dudes shitting around.
well, know about that dude. Oh, I love Will Sasso. He's so funny.
Yeah,
Inside
that's
joke,
what I was
right?
gonna say. That's what I was gonna say earlier. Okay.
What were you
So
gonna say earlier?
Dudesy podcast is a podcast that I've been catching up on. You're caught up on. I've been trying to
Yeah.
catch up on it more and more, but this week I've had 0 time. You know why I've had 0 fucking time? I've been listening to fucking 45 albums by the Deftones, which all sound the same, and I've had no time to listen to any podcast.
They don't
and
sound
that's
all
what
the
really,
same.
really pissed me off most about this album.
That
this
you
week.
didn't get to listen to Dudesy.
Yeah.
Okay. Dudesy hard seltzer. So good. Oh boy. I fucking love that. I love that podcast so much. It's so fucking funny. Go listen to Dudesy's podcast, or the podcast called Dudesy. Go do it. It's so funny. Anyway, Adrenaline. Yes. I tricked you into liking this, and that makes me happy. Adrenaline, this record for me was I didn't hear this record until after I got into Diamond Eyes. Like I never went back and listened to I never went back and listened to the earlier Deftones stuff, and when I did, Adrenaline fucking blew my mind. I mean Engine Number 9, that song, dude, it's a fucking amazing song. It's such a simple kind of guitar riff and all, but oh my god, it's so heavy at points, and just the way they kind of play off of each other in that song is fucking awesome. But yeah, Adrenaline I got into pretty late, but I love this record. I fucking love it. I really do. And I'm totally stoked that you got into this one too, because I really kind of put this record on when I was at your house. I put it on just to kind of irritate you and just to kind of make you listen to something that you didn't want to listen to, in hopes that you would love it. And you did, which was very surprising. It was like when I put on Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I put that on to kind of annoy you, but you ended up loving it. So it's awesome. Totally awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, now that you're done, let's just set the facts straight here. Yes, I did enjoy Adrenaline a lot to the point where I bought the vinyls. But I was so caught up in the hype of the day, of the purchase, of everything, of the Melancholy box set.
Oh yeah.
And it is a fantastic box set. Like it is well crafted. There's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of tangible things to kind of drive that price up to make it worthwhile. But make no mistake, that album is fucking dumb. That album is how long is it? 3.5 hours? It's
2 hours and like 20 minutes.
It's 2 hours and 15 minutes too long. So it is that was not fun. Yeah. I said let's put it on, let's listen to it. But that's because we were drinking all day, and I thought it would be good. And fuck me, it was not.
It's really good. Does Rock This Town still have any left in stock?
No.
Oh, you got rid of them all. Shit.
Yeah.
Makes sense because it's a great record.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Adrenaline. So let's jump into. Oh, do we have any stinkers on this one?
Yeah, let's do stinkers.
Okay.
I have none.
Any?
I have no stinkers.
Okay, good. I don't either. So before we get into the bangers, though, let's just jump into Bored, since we already played it. Where does this sit for you? Is it a banger? Okay, song. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a banger. This is my 6B.
That's high. That's really high.
It's only 11 songs.
I know it's my 7B.
Oh.
That's fine. But this is a really good song. So what do you have on this one, musically and then lyrically and stuff like that?
So I mean, right off the bat, I'm writing notes here as if like this is my first time listening to Deftones in their entirety. And I wrote like, that's a cool chuggy bass line, dude, or that's a cool chuggy intro. But little do I know that's something we'll hear 9 times over the course of their career. But like really, if you put yourself in this position to where they've been touring for several years prior to this album coming out, they don't put out any like EPs or demo tapes really and distribute them the way like even your boys Korn, right? They put out a demo tape fucking before their first album came out.
Yeah. Like within a year.
Yeah, but like Deftones didn't really do like that. They just toured heavily and built up a fan base, which fuck me, I don't understand how. But they did it, and that's you know what? No, I'm not gonna. Normally, I say like kind of I'm in the camp of to each their own. But no, not with the Deftones. I don't get it. I don't like that people like this band. I fucking just don't like it.
But you like this record.
I do like this record because I like everything about this except for Chino. And people love Chino. His vocals are shit on this fucking record. His lyrics are even worse on this fucking record. The drumming is bad. The drumming is bad because they don't allow him to be good. You know he's good, but he just chooses to be bad. Drummer. The only thing that saves this album is that the tones are fucking great. They're crunchy, they're low, but they're also very clean. They're God, I have so many negative things to say about this band. I just don't even. I'm rubbing my forehead right now. Like you can't see, but I'm rubbing my forehead because my brain hurts of how dumb. What? So.
Well, just say positive things. Like, forget the negative.
It's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. It is hard.
It's not hard when this band is that good.
Honestly, like Chino's vocals are only passable because this is like this is their first, right? It's their first. This song Bored, it does drop in nice and heavy. Bored. It's great, dude. That's so bad, but you sound just like him. It's a solid chord progression. That it adds to the song. It doesn't like take away from its feeling or anything. And like the breakdown part I think is really cool because like the silence in between like the notes, but then it eliminates those silences after the second doing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Like it's in the and then it stops and then it goes back into the riff, but then the second part of that bridge area eliminates silences. And just kind of like lets everything play out. I think his vocals in the verses are just fucking absolutely silly. They are bonkers silly. They are purposely silly. silly. Silly.
It sounded like you said stilly.
They are
Still
stilly
sounds like you
too.
said stilly.
They're fucking stilly. Are you kidding me? Stilly is just even a top-notch silly. That's stilly. Top-notch stilly is silly. Fuck. Top-notch silly is stilly. It's purposely like being sloppy so we can't understand him. And that bothers me.
It's about the
annoying.
passion. It's about the
There's
passion,
no passion.
baby.
There's no fucking.
Get
If there was
outta here.
no. If there was passion, then there would be a diverse. There would be a diverse a vocal approach to a lot of these songs, but there's only like one or two songs on here that I think are. I wouldn't even say vastly different. I would just say like a little bit different vocal presentation wise than everything else. I don't think he's a diverse singer. I don't think he's a good singer at all. And I watched live videos. He is not a good singer. Just not. I think he plays to the music, but I think the music's dumbed down to adhere to his like shortcomings. And I will support this argument based on how this band even formed, how I read this band even formed. This band formed because everybody else was playing music and decided like, hey, we're friends. We should all jam in my garage. We don't have a singer. Hey, Chino, just fucking say things while we jam. And that's what he did.
That's how a lot of bands start. That's not unusual.
But he is from the day one, except that he was not a singer. He was not supposed to be
fine.
a singer. He did not want to be a singer. He just wanted to hang out. And because
Which
of
is
that, I think the band is dumbing down to him. Because I think bass playing, fucking fantastic. And the bass player is really the only person on this album that's allowed to let loose. Guitar playing, I think there's some fucking phenomenal riffs on here. There's some phenomenal tones on here that are kind of like subtly inserted into some of these songs. I think drum wise, dude, the dude's not like the dude's like a caged lion. He is not allowed to like get out of his cage and let loose and go crazy. He's just not. There's only a handful of parts, not songs, parts on this album where he's allowed to do something really, really cool. I think this band is tragic because they're dumbing down to Chino, and he's the fucking worst part of this band.
Okay, so let's kind of break this down real quick. So Chino, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you on some of the things. I agree that he's not the greatest singer. I disagree in that you saying that he's one-dimensional. He's, he doesn't add a lot to the songs, which I think is wrong because he doesn't do the same. It's not like he's just a monotone kind of thing. He does do like the soaring vocals at times. He does the really high-pitched wails at times. He does the high-pitched screams. He can do some of the lower growls. He does change it up. It's not the constant like when you listen to Atreyu, like that first Atreyu record, which I love and I know you like a lot.
Love it.
But the way Alex sings, the screaming vocalist sings on that record, it's very, for lack of a better word, it's one-dimensional. It's raw, 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 raw. That's the entire fucking record. But with this record and other Deftones records, Chino does change it up. Whether or not you like that style, and I agree, he's not the greatest singer, but that's okay. Tom DeLonge, terrible fucking singer. But his voice is a character within the song, and it's a good character. And I feel like Chino's voice is a good character within the song. He does have he's a lot more dynamic than I feel like you're giving him credit for. 2, Stefan, I don't think he's the greatest guitar player, but he's interesting. On this record and later records, I feel like some of his heaviness is really solid. I hear some Black Sabbath kind of stuff on this record from Stefan, especially later in the record. But it's not overly complicated at all. Chi, he's good. He's a good bass player, but he doesn't offer a ton. Abe, the drummer, I think is fucking an amazing drummer. And you're saying he's like a lion in a cage or whatever you said, and he barely gets let out, but that's okay. And we've seen a lot of amazing drummers who do that. A good example is Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine. Another good example is Chad from Red Hot Chili Peppers. 2 amazing drummers, but they kind of hold it back for the song itself. And when they need to break out, they fucking do it, and they do it so well. And Abe has some really amazing parts on this record, like he does to me, on every Deftones record, he has moments where he fucking shines. He's not overly technical, but he has that solid swing and he has that solid beat that just really traps that groove in and makes some of these songs just truly, truly amazing. So I disagree with you a lot on that part of it.
Okay. I think like overall the thing we're going to disagree on most is Chino.
I agree because I think he's way more dynamic than you give him credit.
Yeah. You take Chino and put him in any other band, and he's the fucking weakest member of every single fucking. You put him in any band, he's the weakest member of all bands, including this one.
I feel
we like comparing to Tom DeLonge. You take Tom DeLonge out of Blink, or any other fucking bullshit bands he pretends to be out of. Put him in any other band, and he's not always going to be the weakest member. And I feel like as songwriting goes, Chino, again, like humans, we want melody. We strive for melody. Like, why the fuck are you making music if there's no melody to it? Otherwise, you're just making noise. You're making noise for the sake of just being different, for the sake of just making noise, for the sake of just being unique. Like even fucking Radiohead and their self-obsessed, up their own asshole fucking procedure for writing music, they still write melodies. I honestly I don't fucking remember any melody from this album.
But then talk about, a singer. Okay, yeah, Tom York, he does have a good voice. I will say that. And I do like some Radiohead. I'm not an absolute hater of Radiohead. I say a lot of stupid shit just to piss you and Skip off and some other people off. Or actually to piss a lot of people off, really, when you really think about it. But he is a good singer, but he doesn't have a lot of dynamic to his voice. Like he does all the same shit over and over and over again, which is fine. It's cool. Like I'm not knocking him for it, but it's a lot of the same fucking shit. At least, Chino, yeah, he's not a good singer, but he plays to the fucking songs and he does cool shit. And I think him playing to the song adds a lot to that. He knows when to scream. He knows when to bring it back down. It's just like an Abe too. He's a drummer too, where like he can hit really loud and just be super bombastic, but he knows when to kind of like, be a little bit subtle and kind of sit in the back of the mix or sit in the back of the beat. And dude, I think you're not giving Chino enough credit in that sense.
I literally give Chino no credit because I don't think he plays to the song. I think the song plays to him. Again, I think Chino has the most shortcomings of anybody.
Music. That's how a band writes music.
That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is the band is writing around Chino, not with Chino, around Chino.
But that is
this
with
band.
Chino.
This band is better than Chino is. Chino is bad. He has never been good. This album, he's the worst part of this fucking album by far. Shit, he's the worst part of Ohms by far. That's 1 to 9. Their entire discography, the worst part about Deftones is Chino. This band has been supporting Chino, and that's fucking irritating. This band could be better without Chino, with somebody who could actually do something with their vocals, who can write better songs, who can even insert melodies here or there. And yeah, even in my infinite shit talking of Deftones, there were a handful of songs that I liked that I thought were really good. Because, yeah, again, drunk throwing darts at a dartboard, you're going to hit it a couple of times. And Chino hit it a couple of times. But even those couple of times, he's just goddamn lucky. He has been surrounded by guys that tolerate his lack of talent and his bullshit. Because I would not tolerate this monotony for 9 fucking albums. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much.
Oh man, that's fucking great. It's great. Completely wrong, but it's great.
And to think like the drummer has any like great fucking songs. Like no, any band that had, like you mentioned Brad Wilk, you mentioned Chad Smith. Both of those bands, both of those respective people's bands, have written songs around their drummer. Deftones have never done that. There were not one time through this entire listen through where I thought, holy fuck, this is a drum song. And we've listened to literally thousands of albums on this podcast. And when we listen to a drum song, like, holy shit, this is a song that is clearly written around the drummer. Not one fucking time did I think that. Not one time did I think the band threw, who's the drummer for this band? Who cares?
Abe.
Because he's never allowed to do anything. Not one time did I ever.
That's completely wrong. It's
not
completely
one time.
wrong because
Not one time did I ever think
so
like
stupid.
they threw him
You're
a
so
bone
fucking stupid.
and wrote a song around a
so
fucking
dumb,
solid
dude.
drum beat. Aside from like cool drum parts, transitions, fills. That's it.
Which is sometimes all you need for a drummer. Like, you don't need to create these
Then
like
don't say
pop
he's a
drum
great
hits,
drummer.
you know?
Then don't say he's a
'Cause
great drummer.
He's a solid fucking drummer.
When?
He
When?
really is.
When?
He has some amazing
I never
fucking
heard
fills.
it. I never.
He has some amazing fills on this
amazing
on this
fills.
album.
So
on
2
this-
seconds at a time. He has some great drum parts. Awesome.
But he has some. Oh my god, dude, you're so fucking.
I just never heard it. I never heard it.
Like I can't even like come up with a proper insult for you.
because you know I'm
It's like-
digging away at this facade that is like the Deftones.
It's like you've
And I'm
been
chipping
hitting your
away.
head against a wall for like
chipping
2
away.
hours, and then you come and start recording the pod with me. That's what this is like right now.
This is
You've had your head run over by a truck probably
this
3
is
times
for
today.
sure, bar none. I mean, I feel like we're not even getting to the songs because it's just going to be back and forth like this, which is fine because this is bar none the biggest obstacle that has ever been in front of both of us. Like, we fuck around a lot, but there's no way I will ever back down to the fact that this band, calling them overrated is a fucking understatement. This band is a joke. This band is an absolute fucking joke. I think this band
That's
is not
wrong.
talented.
No.
I think even as a good drummer goes, I don't think he's even like a top 100, a top 300. Like, absolutely not. Bass playing goes, he has some good licks, but fuck me if he's even like a top 100 bass player. Stephen Carpenter, yeah, he's done a lot of extracurriculars, but he's not great at anything. And like looking at their songwriting credits, none of them has written a song that's like, wow, fuck yeah, that is a Deftones song. Like, none of them has written a fucking a Stairway to Heaven. None of them has written a
Well,
fucking,
of course, come on. That's just unfair. That's just stupid.
But every band
Come
has
on.
their Stairway to Heaven. Every band has something that they've written. So, what is the Deftones?
At
What is
this point-
Deftones Stairway to Heaven?
At this point, we should just rename this
Elite?
podcast to the Silly Boy Talk Podcast. 'cause this
Elite
just
is
stupid.
Elite the Deftones Stairway to Heaven because it won a Grammy?
No, because Elite's not. No,
Because
not.
Elite is better than Wait. Do you think Elite is better than Wait and Bleed? At least give me that.
No, Wait and Bleed is. I agree with you. That was bad on the Grammys part. Of course, Wait and Bleed is better. Come on, don't. Okay, you're acting like I view this band as like some just. God's
They're a
gift
top
to the
10.
earth, dude.
You said they're a top 10.
Yeah, for me, they're a top 10.
A top 10 what? A top 10 fucking most overrated bands of all time? Then yeah, I'd put them in a top 10 also. What?
I still fucking love this band. Anyway, let's move on from bored. Because I'm bored.
I'm bored. Exactly. What is the harm
what
in
I-
bored?
Do you know what I noticed on this record after reading the lyrics, which are very rough? Like, I don't like the lyrics at all on this
Terrible.
record.
They're trash.
Or even on Diamond Eyes. When we did Diamond Eyes, I did not like the lyrics on that record either. But I couldn't believe how many times he uses the word bored on this entire album. Not
Yeah,
just
'cause
the
your
song. It's like
fucking
almost
music is
every
boring.
song he uses that word. Okay, so what's your 1B off of Adrenaline?
Do you want to guess? Do you want me to just tell you? What do you want to do?
Just tell me, because at this point I can't even guess. I would. I mean,
At this point, I'm
this has
fucking
been a crazy
irritated.
episode.
I don't like it. I'm pissed
Yeah.
off. Engine number 9. That's my 1B.
Okay, that's my number. That's my 1B as well. Just
Oh,
throwing that out
damn, Gina.
Yeah. Engine number 9. Fuck me, that is a fucking banger. So what do you got on this one?
Cool, fast riff, right? Super slow drums. Again. Because that's all we fucking get from the Deftones here. But that riff is good. That riff is really
Yeah.
good. It's even better when Chino is going at it over the riff. So when we're getting that
Just like
layering
rapping over it.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah,
some
it's so
subtle
good.
rap rock. There's some subtle new metal. There's some subtle Jonathan Davis in this album. There's some subtle stuff here. That's fun, and it's fun. There's some cool parts to this song. Towards the end, in that last chorus, there's this instrumental bridge thing, and I timestamped most of it.
So
But
good.
dude, it starts. So like the instrumental part starts at like 210, but it gets really good at the 240 mark, and it goes into this really cool palm mute thing to end the song. I'm just telling you that 50 seconds of music is the best in this album. The best.
I agree with you on that. I feel like this song is a fucking masterpiece. It really, really is. It has the aggressiveness. It has that really catchy riff. Nothing complicated at all. I mean, dude, it's fucking killer. He does everything on this song. He does the hip hop delivery vocally. He does the screaming fucking super well. He fucking nailed. I mean, every member fucking nails it in this. I love that guitar riff. It's so cool. It's so
I will say that he does none of it well. He does all of it bad.
Of course, okay.
But
The fun stuff.
if this was their 9th album and he's doing it like this, I would take a tally off in his favor. Because it's their first and they're young and they have no fucking idea what they're doing. They have no EPs before this. They have no demo tapes. They have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tally for it, because it's showing the music that he has grown up listening to. It's showing the current trends that he's listening to, following. He's like, I want to sound like this. No, let's write a song that's like this. But then halfway through that song, because Korn's album dropped a year or two before this.
94, yeah.
Okay, so
Or
like
3
they hear
years, yeah.
they hear Korn's album and they're like, holy fuck, that's what we've been
No,
playing.
1 year, sorry.
That's what we've been playing, but I kind of like what they did with this. Let's change this a little bit. But it's very elementary, and I like that. I like that because you can hear it, because it's endearing. It's just kids, just a bunch of kids shitting around, having fun. That's what it is.
Well, they were all friends too. They toured together. They recorded together. I mean, Chino was on Life is Peachy on Korn's second record. He did the cover of Wicked. What is it, Snoop Dogg song? But yeah, Chino and Korn did the cover on Life is Peachy. So they were very close friends. They played together. We saw them together. Do you not remember this?
I don't remember this, but you brought this up earlier.
In 2006, it was me, you, fucking Joe, Brian, Ryan. We saw, it was Family Value. It was Family Values.
Deftones played that show?
Yeah, it was Deftones. Oh no, it was Stone Sour, Deftones, and then Korn. Yeah.
I remember
we
a
were
lot
at that
about that show except for Deftones.
Yeah, we saw Deftones.
I remember Stone Sour and Flyleaf, right? No,
Yeah, Flyleaf. Yeah, no, you're right. Flyleaf played. Yeah, they did.
because both of those I thought were shit. And then I remember the whole fucking what was that thing?
Stone
You shoot
Sour
guns.
sucks too.
The paintball, but like rubber bullets and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't remember Deftones.
Yeah, Deftones played that. They played that Family Values.
Wow.
Yep. That was the first time I ever saw Deftones, was then. And then I saw them, I've only seen them twice. I saw them then, and then I saw them in 2015. They opened up for Incubus. It was Incubus and Deftones. Well, actually, they didn't open up for them. It was a co-headlining tour. But Incubus and Deftones, and that was fucking, that was one of the coolest shows I've ever been to. One of the coolest shows I've ever been to.
That is that's so fucking annoying. That is so
Why?
annoying, because
Why?
Deftones are not on the same level as Incubus.
Well, they did play before Incubus.
A co-headlining tour means maybe some dates they will possibly talk about Deftones being billed higher than Incubus. There is no there. Oh my god.
That was a fucking amazing show. That show was so fucking good.
Do you think like Deftones' best is better than Incubus' worst?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Meeting you right now. Meeting you.
I mean, Jeff, come on,
Muted.
Jeff. You know that Brandon Boyd is my favorite singer of all time. I love Incubus, but their worst record is fucking trash. It's fucking trash. If not now, when? That record sucks.
I'd still sit through, dude.
No, you wouldn't. No.
Unless the
wouldn't.
Deftones played Adrenaline in its entirety, I'd still sit through Incubus's worse.
You would not.
I would.
You cannot tell me right now that you like grenades more than you like adrenaline.
I do like light grenades.
Okay, but that's not what I said. I said you can't tell me that you like light grenades more than adrenaline. I'm not asking if you like light grenades.
No, but no, probably not.
But what?
If it was a
Butts are for
one-off show,
pooping, I know.
If it was a one-off show, we're playing light grenades or we're playing adrenaline in its entirety. No bonus songs, no jamming, nothing. Just how it sounds on the album. I would see adrenaline. Yes,
of course.
Yes,
I would too. I would agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, what are we arguing about?
I just fucking hate Deftones so much. It's uncanny how I don't think I've disliked a band like legit. I joke around about hating bands a lot, but I've never disliked a band this passionately.
But the thing is, you like adrenaline. Like you have this on vinyl. Like you really like this record.
I do.
So why are we arguing? Why are we arguing about this?
Because the worst part is Chino.
Like this. Okay, so we can get past that. Let's get into the other shit. So,
but the problem is you don't think he's the worst part.
I don't. No, I don't.
And that's the problem.
I think you're the problem here, but that's okay. So let's play. I'm going to play a little bit of Engine Number 9 right now. So here it is from Deftones. Engine Number 9 from Deftones. The best song on the record. One of their best songs ever. I love this song, man.
I mean, like several things here. So one, there's a hip hop song by Black Sheep called "The Choice Is Yours" that samples an old country song called Engine Number 9, which I think has nothing to do with this, but I thought that was kind of funny. And two, when I wrote my lyric entry, so I wrote just straight up fucking I don't know.
I just wrote up straight up fucking I don't know.
No, Fuggin fucking don't know.
Fucking
don't know. I was just I had no fucking idea.
I will say there a lot of the lyrics on this record don't make sense. I don't think Chino's a very great lyricist. And like you said on the album rankings, I feel like what you said was his lyrics are just, wait, what did you say? They're just placements in the song. They're
placeholders for
placeholders. That's what it is. Yeah,
for musical notes, and that's how he started out singing. Right? Because whenever he was jamming,
lyricist starts. That's how every
that's how Will Smith did it with DJ Jazz Jeff, right? He was
that's
like,
how
I need
every singer does it.
Not every singer, but some
Nobody
people
starts with lyrics.
But some people want to be musicians. Some people want to be these things. Like I don't think from what I read, Chino didn't want to be like a lyricist or a singer. He wanted to do something with music, but it just so happened to fall on this. And I think he's been trying to keep up ever since, and we're all duped.
And I think he's done a good job at it. I think he has. Actually, I know he has. I don't think it. I know he has. But if I were to kind of break down the lyrics on this one, I feel like this one is about like gang violence in the area of like Sacramento area in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, like I said, his lyrics are hard to kind of decipher. So I don't know. Let's move on. What do you got for your 2B?
2B. Nosebleed.
Nosebleed.
Yeah, okay. Nosebleed, the fourth track.
That's my 5B. That's my 5B.
That's my 2B.
So what do you got on this one?
I thought it was a good transition from Here's Brand 1 week. And it flowed nicely. It was nice. I liked it. Channeling a little bit of Jonathan Davis here, I thought. Those quick vocals remind me of him. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because, again, I what I like about the Deftones in this era is they have a sound, but they're not afraid to adjust the sound based on what they're listening to, what they like, not necessarily current trends, just like growing up in the scene. And I think like Nosebleed kind of like does that. And I think writing songs a year I think writing songs at the same time Korn is releasing an album is one thing, right? Because you don't know what Korn is writing when they release the album. You were only writing songs to when Korn is releasing the album. So when Korn releases the album and you now like adjust, and I say adjust because I read a couple random fan blogs because there's billions out there about the Deftones for whatever reason. I read fan blogs where Chino adjusted his vocal stylings because he loved going on tour. He loved Jonathan Davis so much. He loved Korn so much. But I respect that. I respect the fact that this guy is now has no business being in music, which nobody really does when they're thrust into it. But he's like a sponge. He's soaking in all of this other information, and he's adjusting his own kind of tones. But what I don't respect is the fact that all of his tones sound the same. So there's that. But there's a lot of other stuff to the song too, right? It speeds up, it slows down. There's soft and high parts. It's a solid track, despite Chino's shitty vocal parts. My favorite part of the song was that fucking like that subtle ringing, right? That ringing during the really quiet and slow part. Like I thought at first it was just like feedback from the guitar amp, but then like there's this one part where it's super quiet and then you hear only the ring and then it drops in. It sounds like a bell. It sounds like a bell on like a cow's neck.
Wait, I don't remember that part.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
And I really don't. I like that. Right, I like that because it was weird. It was quirky. It was weird. It was kind of fun. I want to believe that they heard this bell in some capacity and like, oh, that sounds fucking weird. They should put that in the album. And then maybe we're drunk or high at some point and put it in for 40 seconds.
I mean, that's kind of what they were known for. Like, when they even up until this day, they get together in a room and they jam it out, and because they have like their own studio and just kind of jam room, and they just like drink beer and smoke weed and just hash ideas out, and that's how they write their albums. And they've been doing that since prior to this first record. I mean, minus like the Saturday Night Wrist, that record, everything has been done very much as a band, and Gore, I guess, too. But overall, it's been done as a band, which I think is super fucking rad. They just like they hang out and they play games. Like I've read stories where like they'll go in and like write music and then they'll play poker for like 2 days straight. Like they won't even do anything else but just play poker and just hang out and drink and smoke and just have a good time as friends, which is just so different to how a lot of bands write music, especially a band who's been around for fucking 30, 40, or 30 years now,
That's just
it's fucking insane.
Crazy. Bonkers.
It's insane. Like it's so cool to see like these guys are still friends. Like they still enjoy being with each other and just having a good time with one another. And I think that is just, it's so unique and so rad in itself. I fucking love that. But that's just how they write music. But yeah, going back to Nosebleed, this is one of those songs where they're really on this album, they're really good at like building up in their bridges, and they're really good at bringing the quiet moments and transitioning into the big heavy parts and bringing it back down. There's a lot of good dynamics. There's a lot of good ups and downs. And this is one of those examples. This is one of those songs where it has that. The short kind of chugging parts during the verses are fucking awesome, but then he also hits those high notes in the verses too, that up and down, that dynamic part of it. As kind of cheesy as it is at some points, it's still super fucking cool, and it's very new metal at moments, but who gives a fuck? It's fucking rad as shit. So I don't know. And then the double time at the end, they do the double time thing really well. They build into that double time super, super well. And Chino's high-pitched screaming at the end during that double time is fucking awesome. It's so good. Once again, he's really good at doing the high-pitched stuff. He's very good at doing like the soaring vocals, the atmospheric vocals. He's good at a lot of shit.
So, okay, so for one, the double time is fun because everything is in halftime. So, like, when we get the double time, it's finally like, oh, finally we can just get to like normal pacing of music, which is pleasurable to my ears. Okay, great. Because there's not a lot of contrast. There's not a lot of good songwriting in that halftime stuff.
That's so wrong.
Well, it's not wrong. It's entirely accurate. And two, Chino's not good at it. He's not good at screaming. He can scream. You know, he can scream. Everybody can fucking scream. My kids can scream. Everybody screams. Doesn't mean he's good at it. There are certain people that were in bands that don't scream, but when you finally hear them scream, like, holy shit, that was pretty fucking good. Chester Bennington, he was really good at screaming. He didn't scream that often.
But he was a great screamer, for sure. I totally agree with you on that. But it was so cookie cutter. It was so pop based.
This is the opposite. This is a guy that can just.
It's more.
He can just scream.
And with
again,
Deftones,
the band's writing around that scream.
With Deftones, it's more avant-garde. It's more sporadic. It's kind of random at points, and that gives it its excitement, and that's why. Okay, like I said, Chester, amazing vocalist, amazing singer, but the songs and his melodies were so cookie cutter. They were so pop, which is fucking fantastic. It's awesome, but that's what it was. There was no randomness to his songwriting. It was very, very, very straightforward. But what's so cool about Deftones and Chino's vocal delivery is just kind of how out of left field it can be at some times, and just how he'll drop into something you're like, what the fuck is this? Like we talked about on the album rankings on the Hexagram, the kind of the shit he was doing on that song was fucking unreal, and it blew me away. It even blew you away. You were shocked by that too.
I will give you that. I will give you that. That yes, even though I think his screams they're nothing to write home about. I could not predict his screams. There's not a point in any of the discography where I was like, okay, he's gonna fucking scream, and then he screamed. It was so fucking random. It was so put in there haphazardly that it kept me on my toes. I'll give you that.
It gives you that kind of excitement. That kind of it throws you for a loop, and that's kind of what I think is exciting about this band and at times. And oh man, killer fucking band.
Okay.
Should we play a little bit of Nosebleed?
I mean, I'm fine to shitting over this band for the next hour and a half. I could go.
Okay,
I literally could go for the next 4 hours shitting over this band,
which I don't want to do. But we're about an hour. We're about an hour into the pod, so I don't think we should really play any of the. I know we've gone through 2 songs, so let's run through a few more songs. We're not going to play them. We're going to run through them, and then we'll
at least
give our final thoughts and stuff.
At least, like at this point with this type of album, because I do think like you need to listen to this as a whole, coming from someone who does not like. I do not like this band. I truly do not like this band. I think they're vastly overrated, but I think this album needs to be listened to as a whole. But I would like to at least get into each member's contributions to this band. Maybe we'll do it a little differently. Get into each member's contributions to this album. I feel like we've beat Chino to death.
We really have.
Poor guy.
I haven't. I haven't
demolished him. I will say I think his lyrics. I think he's kind of bordering on like the stream of consciousness, Bob Dylan-esque way of writing lyrics, which I think is cool.
I love Bob Dylan.
I do because it's poetry, and I think in a certain setting. I think Chino's lyrics could be considered like poetic. I do. I think some of them are really fucking cool. But when you put them together with music, they don't blend well. They don't make sense to me. I don't like them. And therefore I think he's stupid. But like God, that Chi Chang thing, that poetry reading, I thought that was fucking fantastic. But that's no different than what Chino's writing here. It's a stream of consciousness thing it's
the delivery that you hate, which is silly. But
yeah, it's 100% the delivery. I can't stand his fucking vocals. They're so bad. No, I shouldn't say that. They're not bad,
dude.
They're just never, ever, ever good. That's what I hate about them.
But you'll go and listen to, Blink's Buddha, and fucking love that shit.
because
yeah,
that's
this is
backed by
terrible.
strong melodies. And again, like as much as we pretend to be like, oh, I fucking love prog music and I'm fucking a metal guy, dude, humans love melody. Like
I mean, I agree. I love
that's
melody too.
it's not just you, it's humans. Our
Yeah.
ears. We are programmed to love melody. That is what drives music forward from the dawn of man. Caveman pounding on sticks and rocks and shit. We love melody because
Yeah.
it's just pleasing to the ears.
Agreed. So, okay, like you said, I don't think we're gonna really talk about any of the other songs here because we've really kind of exhausted a lot of shit here. But so how do you want to do this? Do you want to go? You really want to go member by member and then kind of break down each member and how they relate to all the songs on the album?
So
itself?
I mean, there's four guys, right?
Yeah, on this
essentially.
record,
Okay, so like Chino, we're done with. I think the
yeah.
next
We've talked
person
extensively about
I think the next person that is uneventful is Stephen Carpenter.
Stefan, but okay.
Oh, excuse me, Stefan. He's from fucking Sacramento. Okay, relax, Stephen. Fucking guy. You're not Millen Collin from Sweden over here. You're fucking.
Do you know
Chill the
anything
fuck
about this
out.
guy? About Stefan?
All I know is that he's done other things with other bands that I think is pretty cool. Like he did this thing with this hip hop group called Nonfiction, and he put like a guitar track down on one of their albums, on one of their songs on one of their albums. He's done a lot of stuff with hip hop groups. Tech Nine he did a song with. So I know he does a lot of extracurrics, but in the course of like this album, in the course of just listening to the Deftones, I think the dude's all smoke and mirrors.
Okay, but that's fine. I mean, I agree with you with Steph. He's not a bad guitar player by any means, but he does use a ton of effects. And he uses, many years he used the 7-string guitar to get those very low tones. And I think I was telling you earlier, in the last 6 or 7 years, he moved up to an 8-string guitar, which is just fucking insane, just to get those super heavy guitar tones, which is fun. But I don't knock him for it really. And it's funny because like I've heard Chino on in interviews and podcasts recently, and he's like I love Steph, I love Stefan, but dude, his pedal board is like it's like 40 deep, like it's like a fucking computer. It's like he just like constantly makes fun of his pedal board because it's just completely unnecessary. But he just does it because he's like a total fucking gearhead, and he just loves to experiment with stuff like that. And whether or not that comes to fruition on a record, from what it sounds like, well, from what Chino has said, he just likes to kind of fuck around and just be completely creative, but just not put anything down on a record, which is, it's cool. It's still cool.
So two other things here. One, I opened the last beer by the Deftones.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's been one hell of a fucking night, I'll tell you that much. Dia de los Deftones is the name of this beer. That's fun. This one came out of their concert, right? Their what do you call it? Festival they put on, the Dia de los Deftones festival.
Yes.
Around the same time as Ohms came out. And this is a Mexican style lager. So that's what I just poured. As far as Stephen Carpenter is concerned,
Stefan, but okay.
I read this. I read an interview that Chino did recently, within the past like year and a half, about Stephen, and he said that I would never call him Stefan because he's from fucking Sacramento. I just don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I do not.
And just
care.
because I constantly correct you too.
Correct. Yeah, and he's like 50 fucking 60 years old. I don't care. What I did like about it is how much they fight. How much
they do,
Chino and Steven fight constantly about everything. Just even as he was giving the interview, he was like, for instance, like we're sitting here in this room and if I told Steven that these curtains were gray, he would fight me on it. He said, they're not gray, they're an offshoot of gray. And he said, we constantly fight. We always fight. We always had been fighting. Like every album that we do, we fight. Everything we do, we fight on. And it was just like this whole like negative, 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 negative. But then the last thing he said, he says, but because, and I don't agree with him, but he says, because we fight so much, we release really, really good shit. And I said, okay, well, that's cool. I like that you can fight with somebody and then still be with them for so long. I like that you can have such differing opinions and still be with them for so long. I like that you think you guys are coming from two different camps and put out what you think is good albums. They're not. But I like that idea.
So wrong, dude. So fucking wrong, dude.
I like that idea. And I think that's cool. I think that's very adult. That's very grown up.
So also, Stephen Carpenter, the guitar player.
Steven.
He's he's really into conspiracy theories, and he's a hardcore flat earther. Like very, very hardcore flat earther. And he was on the podcast like a year and a half ago with the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli. I don't know how familiar you are with that podcast, but Sam Tripoli is like, he's so obnoxious, but he has some interesting guests sometimes. But he did have Stefan on, and he was on for like 2 hours, and they were just like talking about the flat earth, and just, dude, he's full blown into that stuff. Like through and through, like you cannot convince him otherwise about flat earth. It was a really interesting conversation, like how adamant he was about it. And
above all else, like it's cool. It's cool that Chino and Steven can still remain friends, even though they're on the complete opposite ends of spectrum of beliefs, of ideals, of values. Mm-hmm. But are still friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just shows, at least in any in its basic form, there's just acceptance.
Yeah, there's acceptance, and they still enjoy, like, even though they like, because I don't agree with I have friends, and I don't agree with. I think I have friends, but I don't agree with everything.
Statement there.
I know. That's why I corrected myself.
You did. Solid.
But I disagree with some shit, but I'm still friends with, or I think I'm friends with some of these people still. So, it's unrealistic to think that you have to agree with every single thing that your friend believes in, or family member, or whoever it is, It's just like, they've been together, they've been friends since they were fucking kids. And they've made music. They've created this entire life together. It's like, why would some political belief or something stupid and, why would that drive them apart? I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool too.
And that's like another I don't know, thing of note, right? Like Abe, Steven, and Chino have been together since not the beginning, but since their first album.
Yeah.
And had it not been for like Chi Chang's coma and then subsequent death, for all we know, like he would have been there since the beginning too. In the beginning, totally, I mean their first album.
Yeah, totally.
It's like
totally.
these are guys that have gone through the shit. And like Chino had a fucking gnarly drug addiction. These guys all fucking did a lot of gnarly drugs, as most people do when they become famous and make a lot of money, or a lot more money than they're used to having. Like, what do you do with this? And some of the lyrics, I will say, most of the lyrics in this album I thought were just fucking bullshit, and just him trying to be hard and him trying to be poetic. But some of the lyrics I feel like were based in reality, dealing with like drug addiction, or one in particular dealing with like I know I'm going to cheat on my girlfriend, therefore I need to like come up with a lie eventually about it, and that kind of deals with like this fame, right? All these groupies are now on top of you. All these people are coming at you. And like, how would you deal with it? Like, I don't know. Like a normal person does not know what you would do in a situation like this, but at least he's being honest. And I like that. I dig that.
Yeah, I do too. There were a couple songs on here where some people were claiming like, oh, this is about, him, wanting, like, this is like more religious based. This is about a relationship with a girl or whatever. And my interpretation of it was like, no, this is like straight up about being addicted to some sort of hard drug and it just like destroying your life, and or your point of view of like you're seeing somebody very close to you destroying their lives because of whatever drug it was, heroin. I mean, heroin was fucking huge in the 90s. So, I mean, more likely than not, it was like some of these drug related songs were about heroin. But I don't know, like my interpretation of a lot of these songs were vastly different than what other people were interpreting it as, which can be really cool because, I mean, that can be what makes a lyricist really great. But I really don't think Chino's a great lyricist. He's just a stream of consciousness that's about it. Placeholder, like you said.
I think he's a shit lyricist, but I think he's very grateful to be surrounded by people that are really, really good. And by really good, I mean Abe and Chi-Chang at the time.
You're finally giving Abe some recognition. Huh?
From the beginning, I said Abe is fantastic. He's never allowed to let loose. At least like Chi-Chang is allowed to like throw down bass lines to be allowed to like have songs crafted around a bass line.
Yeah.
Abe is never afforded that luxury. Abe is like taken for granted. Abe is a drummer that's really fucking good, but has never been like appreciated in the band. And if there's anybody in this band that deserves exponentially more, it's Abe. And Chino and Steven both deserve exponentially less. So annoying.
It's so obnoxious, right?
Because I've just been waiting for you to say Stefan so I can say Steven. But you just don't. You don't fucking say his name. That's fine.
And so bringing it to Chi, he was so loved within the community, the music community.
Yeah, what the fuck?
For being so kind and being so like kind of spiritual. I mean, he is a good bass player. Don't get me wrong. He is a good bass player. He's the bass player who like plays only with his fingers, never played with the pick. He was just kind of he was kind of like a hippie. From everything I've seen and kind of read about the guy, he was always kind of a hippie up until his accident. And even Korn on the second record, Life is Peachy, the song Chi is named after Chi-Chang. Like that song is about Chi, but it's like a super aggressive song. It's a song that you would never think is about Chi, but it actually is. So it's crazy how the two bands, Korn and Deftones, were just so connected with one another, and they constantly played shows together, and they were really good friends. And then even when they did when we saw Deftones and Korn play at that Family Values, they played Wicked together. They Chino came out and they played Wicked. Korn played Wicked on that tour. But I know you don't remember that. But
I 100% don't remember that.
But they did play Wicked, which is really fucking rad. Which is a cool song. But I thought it's cool.
I do feel bad because like Chi was a brother, right? And we've always talked about like the whole Sublime with Rome thing, and the fact that like we think it's stupid that the name is Sublime with Rome. It should just be Sublime because the guys in Sublime were closer to Bradley than Bradley's parents were, than Bradley's fucking wife was to his. Everybody that knows Bradley outside of the bandmates, when you're in a band, you spend more time with that band. They know you better than anybody else on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So to like think that anybody else's opinion means more than your bandmates is just dumb. So when like I feel bad for this band because Chi died twice, essentially, right? He died once when he went into coma.
Yeah.
And then he died when he actually died. And so like
4 years later.
Like
4 years later, yeah.
Honestly, I really wanted to like Diamond Eyes because Diamond Eyes was the album after. That was the first album without Chi.
True, yeah.
That was their first album without Chi since the beginning, right? Since the beginning of and again, beginning meaning their first album.
The first
that
album,
was,
yeah.
that was their first album without a fantastic bass player, and I hated it. But
I
then
know, it's crazy.
But then, like, Gore was the first album that they released after he died, and he fucking died years later. And I don't know what it's like. I can't put myself in that position, but to have somebody be alive for that long, day in and day out in a coma, where the most they recover is they can track you with their eyes. Like, that's rough, man. That is fucking rough. That is
fucking sad.
that is so rough that even when we talk about it, it is exponentially less rough than it could possibly ever be. That is so sad. So I do feel for this band. I just God,
You
Chino's
just can't
the
get
worst.
into their music.
Chino's just the fucking worst. Oh, he's so awful. He's so bad. God, he's so bad. But then even like when she was like in a coma, these like the outpouring of musicians from Fred Durst to the Used.
Everybody.
What? What?
Everybody got involved with him being in a coma and helping to pay the bills. I mean, to be in that vegetative state is very, very, very expensive.
And I think maybe I'm in the minority here, because these are all, when I read about all of the bands or artists that paid money, that released songs, and the proceeds went to the family, I'm just like, God, these are all artists that I truly do respect. And I just maybe I fucking missed the boat. Maybe I missed the boat. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
Also, Deftones do have a record that they never released. I mentioned it in the intro, and they do have an unreleased record called Eros.
Yeah.
And that record was, for all intents and purposes, was finished. She played everything on it. Everything was done on that record, and they were going to release it. It was the end of the recording. They were about to start, the mixing and mastering of it, and promotion of it. But then she got in the accident, and then they shelved it. And they've released 2 songs from that record since 2008. And one of them was Smile, which is actually a fucking killer song. And then Chino released another one like 2 years ago. I can't remember the name of it. I really can't remember the name of it. But they have released 2 of the songs from it. But even to this day, Chino was on a podcast a few months back, and he said, I don't know when that record's ever going to come out. He said that him and the band, they go back and listen to it, and they can't bring themselves to ever release those songs. It's too heart-wrenching, because one, the songs themselves, but also the fact that they weren't properly mixed or mastered. So they would have to go back and re-listen to it and approve the final mixes of that. So it's just like a double stab to the heart, it's a lot of emotion, releasing those songs. But honestly, I feel like fans, I mean, for me at least, I would love to even just hear the demos of those songs. It'd be so sick.
So that one of the other things that I read with Chino recently about that Eros sessions, because that was before, or that's what transitioned into like Diamond Eyes, right? That was the era.
Yeah, Diamond Eyes was completely new. Like, none of the stuff they used from Eros was used on Diamond Eyes. It was
right.
It was a completely brand new writing session.
Everything was scrapped. Everything was starting over, because obviously your fucking bandmate is gone. And there was like a good half a year to a year where they decided whether or not to even be a band anymore.
Yeah.
Understandable. So I think like this Eros thing, from what I read and just what like Chino has said, and again, like these are artists, and artists aren't like normal people. They are inherently emotionally underdeveloped. They're not like normal people. They're artists. That's what makes you a great artist, is you're not like normal people. You are you are worse in most capacities, but in that one capacity, you are exponentially better. And so this Eros thing, I think is really cool. And I know it's supposed to be really dark. And I know he said that it had nothing to do with like the coma thing,
Mm-hmm.
but he kind of also like hinted at like, yeah, and it has to do with like the coma thing, and it was just too hard to go back and re-record everything because they didn't use any kind of like what's the fucking like Fruity Loops? What do we call that shit?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools. They didn't use any kind of like Pro Tools shit. It was all just to tape. It was all
To tape. Yeah.
analog. It was all basic, and it was just too hard to go back and listen to it and re-record things. And I think like in a really good movie when you watch it, right? And much like in some of like the Marvel movies, in really good movies, you see like a character's goodbye to different people on screen, but to the person they love the most, you never see that, and you should never see that because that's something that's for them, and it should be left up to interpretation. And I think
True.
Heroes should be shelved indefinitely. I think it should be between Chi Chang and the band. Done. Don't ever release it. I hope they never talk about it except within the band members, and that is it. And I like that idea. I like that idea because it adds to the mystique, and it's sad to think like a death adds to mystique. But dude, these are the bandmates, man. Like again, like nobody knows you better than your bandmates. Straight up.
That's true. It's like your
even when
closest
you're
friend.
fucking married. Even if you've been married for 40 fucking years, nobody knows you better than your bandmates.
I agree, and especially I think in this case too, because like we've talked about, the way that they record music and write music is together, and they hang out. There are long periods of time where they don't even write music or play together. They're just hanging out, playing board games or drinking or just having a good time hanging out. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we should kind of wrap this one up.
I think we're good.
I think we're pretty much good. We're good with adrenaline. I mean, we touched upon quite a bit of it. We disagree with a lot of it, obviously, but yeah. So let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts on adrenaline, and then give our rating based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but you should give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So, what do you got, Jeff? Go.
So in our Discord, friend of the pod, Skip, has at one point called the Deftones, and I cannot remember what he said, but it was so accurate. But he called them essentially like jocks pretending to be something.
Oh yes, what was it? It was so condescending.
It was very, very condescending, but it was so spot on. Because yeah, you're right. I cannot stand this band. I think this band is man, whatever. I don't want to just harp on this band the whole time.
But
I do think this album is really good. I think it's solid. I think it's very, very heavy. I think it brings something new, something different to like the mid-90s nu metal realm. I think Korn kind of like cornered that shit, and then like Limp Bizkit drove it home, right, with the rap metal stuff. So like you can't top Korn and Limp Bizkit in the mid-90s, actual 90s at all, in the early 2000s of nu metal. You can't do it. So you have to do something a little bit different. And I think Deftones did that. I think Deftones brought in that eclectic, that ambient kind of vocal noise matched with a lot of basic instrumental parts. But
yeah.
My problem with Deftones lies in Chino. I think he's the worst part vocally. I think he's the worst part like instrumentally, lyrically. I think everybody else is dumbing themselves down to just be relevant. Honestly, like to be relevant. Like nobody gave a fuck about prog metal in the mid 90s. Like nu metal was the hot shit. And that's
what
why
was the hot shit?
Nu metal was the hot shit in the in the mid 90s. Yeah. And that's what we'll talk about next week when we do Coheed, why Coheed's first album is not their best, but is their most important album. Yes, their first album, Twin Turbines. Second stage turbine, but that's fine.
Wind turbines. Yes.
Wind turbines, Palm Springs wind turbines.
Yes.
Like it is important to reach an audience. I don't know. It's important to appeal to audiences of the decade, of the year, and I think Deftones do that, where other bands just don't, and just got kind of lucky. Like Korn and Limp Bizkit got kind of fucking lucky. They were really good and put out music that was like, holy fuck, I've never heard this shit before. Boom, define a genre. Whereas Deftones like did not define a genre, but kind of rode the coattails of the genre, but didn't copy the genre. So I get why people love them, but I think they're all fucking.
I don't agree with that, but
I think they're all bizarre and dumb. Deftones
tried so hard. They tried very hard to remove themselves from the new metal label.
Then why do they play new metal music constantly?
But they don't though. They don't sound.
Why do they do the rap rock thing constantly?
They don't.
Why did he emulate Jonathan Davis albums later after this?
Minus little parts here and there. They don't sound like Korn. They don't sound like Limp Bizkit. They don't sound like Powerman 5000.
I never said they did. I said they're riding the coattails of it, but creating their own kind of like unique genre. But it's still in the overarching umbrella of new metal. This is what like everybody considers alternative metal. Like, bitch, fucking alternative metal. Come on. Alternative metal is an umbrella term for the things you don't know how to categorize it in because it's nothing, right? It's not this. It's not that. It's not there. So this is called alternative metal, like alternative rock.
All right.
Alternative rock. The alternative anything is just an umbrella term for categorizing things that sound like a lot of things, but also is just sound like nothing.
Sounds like okay.
But I don't know. I really like this album. I was fucking surprised when you played this, and I was infatuated with it. Mostly because I think the instrumentals are great. I think the instrumentals are great. I think they're heavy. I think the tones are fucking fantastic. There are times on here where it reminds me of like us fucking around with a Line 6 album, putting that fuzz up as high as we possibly fucking can. Yeah. That's what I said. What did I say?
You said album.
No,
I said Line 6 album.
Line, Steven.
You said Line 6 album.
This reminds me of us putting on
a Line 6 album.
Steven. This reminds us. This reminds me of us plugging our guitars into a Line 6 album or amp, I guess, if you want to be particular about it.
Yes.
And turn that fuzz up all the way, messing with those knobs, and just been like, wow, this is a tone, this is a sound that is so obnoxious, so far fetched that it's fun to play because it's annoying. We want to annoy people, and here the Deftones took that sound and kind of made it nice, and kind of made it like enjoyable. Apart from Chino, but like Adrenaline, I think is I'm gonna give you 2 ratings here. You ready for this?
God, here we go.
I'm gonna give you 2 ratings here. So if you took Chino out of this album entirely,
a fucking 3 out of 3, right?
Fucking entirely, just no vocals whatsoever, none whatsoever, right? I would probably do like upwards of like 2.8.
Okay.
Honestly.
Continue the joke. Okay.
Honestly, you throw them in there. Like you do. You get a 1. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a 1.
You're so fucking dumb.
It's not a 1. I still think even with his vocals, I'm still going like I'm gonna do 2.49.
2.49, huh?
Yeah, just because I don't want to give you that 2.5.
Just give it a 2.5.
I just don't want to.
Fucking that
stupid.
stupid.
2. I'm gonna be petty
Don't
right
be
now.
that stupid.
I'm gonna be petty.
Yeah, you're being very fucking stupid and petty.
2.49.
Oy. All right. With that, this is obviously not my favorite Deftones record. I like a lot of the more ambient stuff they do. I like the more dynamic stuff they do, but I still love this record. I love the tone on this record. The guitar is so crunchy at moments. It's so amateur at moments, but it's so pure and just so just so adolescent at moments, and I fucking love that. The drumming, Abe's drumming. I've always been impressed by his drumming. I know you've been very critical of it, but that's okay.
I'm not
We've
critical
all
at
been
all
wrong.
of it.
We've all been wrong at moments.
I've never once been critical of it.
But you have been. But that's okay.
The band doesn't allow him to do the best of his
once
capabilities.
You've been very critical.
You're putting words in my mouth. I don't like it.
I don't
It's
put
tasteful.
words in,
It's
in anybody's mouth.
You're literally sitting there putting your mouth in my hands.
Whoop, whoop. That's not true. And,
It'll be fun to listen back to. Your mouth in my hands.
I don't know. I really, the only thing that I don't care for that much about this record are the lyrics, but that's okay because, like we've talked about, the lyrics are there as a placeholder for what Chino is doing. I think Chino dynamically, I think he's awesome on this record. I think he's awesome on every record. I'm a huge Deftones guy. I don't give a fuck. We've already talked about this extensively.
Fucking
and
nuts.
I'm going to have, what?
You're fucking nuts. Absolutely. You're fucking nuts.
Well, no, that's completely, that's just silly boy talk. But I don't do this often, but I'm going to have to give this record a perfect 3 out of 3.
Get out of here. So your top 3 Deftones are fucking perfect 3s.
Yes, of course. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? How many stupid pills did you take today? How many? Tell me how many did you take?
I feel like honest to God, dude, I feel like this is a fucking long con. I feel like you're long conning me right now because I'm so mad how much you like the Deftones.
My top 5 Deftones records are perfect records. So that include. Let me say this here to make you more upset. My top 5. Number 5, Diamond Eyes. 4, Saturday Night Wrist. 3, Adrenaline. 2, Koi no Yokan. And number 1 is Deftones. Self-titled. All perfect records. Through and through perfect records. I don't care. I don't care. Perfect fucking records.
I have no comeback, honestly. I don't.
Because you're blown away at how
I am
amazing
yes.
I am.
Yeah. That's what I'm blown away by. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So do we have anything else on this record or what do you think?
No.
All right then. Well, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, 5 stars only. And thank you for listening. And that's it. That's all.
Sure.
I was going to say, you didn't fuck with Team Sleep, Crosses, or
all.
Palms? You didn't touch those albums?
Nope.
Because I listened to all 3 of those. So, and I fucking loved it. So.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Elite is Elite the Deftones Stairway to Heaven because it won a Grammy?
No, because Elite's not. No,
because Elite is better than Wait. Do you think Elite is better than Wait and Bleed? At least give me that.
No, Wait and Bleed is. I agree with you. That was bad on the Grammys part. Of course, Wait and Bleed is better. Come on, don't. Okay, you're acting like I view this band as like some just. God's
they're a top 10.
Earth, dude.
You said they're a top 10.
Yeah, for me, they're a top 10.
A top 10 what? A top 10 fucking most overrated bands of all time? Then yeah, I'd put them in a top 10 also. What?
I still fucking love this band.
I do.
So
like
why
this
are we
record a
arguing?
lot.
Why are we arguing about this?
Because the worst part is
really
Chino.
like this. Okay, so we can get past that. Let's get into the other shit. So,
but the problem is you don't think he's the worst part.
I don't. No, I don't.
And that's the problem.
I think you're the problem here, but that's okay.
They're just acceptance.
Yeah, there's acceptance, and they still enjoy, like, even though they, like, because I don't agree with I have friends, and I don't agree with, I think I have friends, but I don't agree with everything.
There.
I know. That's why I corrected myself.
You did.